Good morning everyone, I'm Maxine Cook and Francesca has invited me to do a little video for you about herbal remedies. I'm a psychologist, sleep specialist as a lot of you know, but I'm also a complementary therapist and qualified herbalist. Fran's just asked me to share a little bit of my knowledge in the hope that it will help those of you who are seeking to boost your immune system in whatever ways you can in preparation for this virus that's taking over the world. So as we start to feel the deepening toxic bite of COVID-19 and in the absence of a lot of clear information in a lot of cases, other than the fact that hospitals are going to be overwhelmed with not enough resources to deal with the mass demand for care, people are now starting to ask themselves more and more what they can do to protect themselves against it, how to boost their immunity, that kind of thing. As a holistic therapist, I work with Mother Nature and the many gifts that she offers us, and a lot of those things are things that we don't think about or that we don't really see or are not aware of. But I believe truly deep down in my soul that in the earth and the sea we have everything that we need as a human race to cure us from illness and disease, and that once we can identify more of what's available to us, we can unlock more of the potential available to heal ourselves by natural means. So I'm going to just talk through a few things today. I'm doing it from notes as well, which I've put together because I don't want to leave anything out. And when you're doing a video, there's always that whole thing about wondering whether or not you've covered all your bases. So I'm doing this from notes. I'm looking at my notes as I'm talking, so please bear with me while I do that. As an aromatherapist and herbalist, I know that the human body does know how to heal itself. We're biologically designed to do that. It's just that modern life, the questionable nutrition of what's available to us, the value of that, the lifestyle choices that we make, and certain life pressures that we can't easily control out there in the world, that makes self-healing a really difficult process for many and impossible for some. A lot of people are reliant on drugs to maintain a certain level of health, and the question now, as we go into a deepening crisis worldwide, it's becoming louder. Can we continue to rely on the supply of those medications? Can that be guaranteed? There's no answer to that. We don't know. We can't control what goes on out there, but we can control what we can do to support ourselves as we face the worst crisis in living memory health-wise. I want to make it clear, though, that herbal and aromatherapeutic remedies, they're not cures. It's better to see them as triggers, as the little taps on the shoulder that the body sometimes needs to remind it of what it needs to do to start healing itself. Herbs and essential oils act as wake-up calls to the immune system to rev it up a little bit, to identify and address the dysfunction and strengthen the ability to fight invading illness. They can work surprisingly quickly depending on the strength of what's being applied, because all of these things are incredibly powerful, and they've been around for centuries. You know, they've been around for thousands of years in some cases. The natural medicine was the only medicine until the drug boom came along and we largely forgot about the power of herbs, spices and essential oils and all things natural to heal us. But they were a very effective healing mechanism for a long time, and they still are. We just need to get back in touch with the potential for the efficacy of those treatments. So in looking for immune boosting support, we should always look first in our own kitchen cupboards. We all typically have a wealth, an absolute plethora of supportive herbs and spices in our own existing stores. Black pepper, for example, that provides powerful anti-inflammatory and antibacterial support. It's also a really powerful decongestant for the nose and the chest. It contains antioxidants, meaning that it's a really powerful aid to the body in flushing out toxins from the system. And freshly crushed peppercorns are the best form to take, and if you can toss a handful into or on top of almost any savoury dish, you can make sure you're getting your intake daily of what would be useful for you. Ideally between half and a full teaspoon of black pepper spread across the day. Another great kitchen staple for a lot of us is ginger. This is a really great herb for so many reasons. You might not be a fan of ginger, but my advice to anyone in that camp is to persevere with it if you can. It's an acquired taste, and you can start slowly with a little bit and ramp it up when you start to enjoy it a little bit more, or at least get more used to imbibing or taking it. Ginger is an amazing weapon for fighting fever. It's also a massive immune booster and a rev up to the metabolism, and it can also help kickstart a sluggish circulatory system, which is really important when we're wanting the bloodstream to take as many nutrients as it can, as quickly as it can, to the areas of the body that need it most. Well circulating blood is a huge factor in the correct nutrients getting to the right places in the body where it can do the most good, and ginger also helps to soothe and support an irritated throat and respiratory tract, which is really important right now for anyone who is experiencing the coughing or the shortness of breath that comes with coronavirus, as it's a lovely little package of symptoms. Try making a cup of herbal tea with a chunk of shaved ginger. Peel the ginger and infuse it in a glass or a cup of boiling water, and dollop of lovely nice quality honey and a slice of lemon, and that's a really good flush out for the system. It'll flush toxins through really quickly. It'll also hang around long enough to give your immune system a really good tap on the shoulder. So garlic is our biggest friend in the kitchen and in the body, helping to purify the blood. It helps to reduce fever by promoting sweating, and that also not only lowers the fever but also expels a lot of the toxins that are cruising around in the system that we really want to get out of there as quickly as we can. Garlic is a really powerful immune system ally. It contains really important minerals such as potassium, which helps to regulate the balance of the fluid that we have in our systems. And again, this little friend is better used freshly pulverized. You can use the juice from that too, and you can have it raw if you can stand it. It's not everyone's cup of tea or cup of anything really, but if you can stand the taste of raw garlic, that is by far the best way to have it, to give you the most benefits. Steer away from garlic salt if you can, because the potency of the garlic in that product is not enough to be of any real benefit to you. It will provide flavour for your food, and that's pretty much it. The next one on my list is turmeric. Those of us who enjoy our food with a little bit of zing and spice will probably already have some turmeric in our cupboard. And the peppery tasting, bright yellow, warm, sunny warmth of turmeric makes it a really good little immune system booster. It's a proper heroic little fighter, is turmeric, full of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties. And you can use this one in much the same way as that you'd use black pepper as a seasoning, and you can also make a tea with it, but be sure to strain it very finely if you do make a tea from it yourself. You can buy turmeric tea bags, which do have enough turmeric within them to do the job, because remember, what we're doing here is just reminding the immune system that it just needs to get up and get ramped up and do its thing. We don't need to overload it with a lot of anything for that little trigger to activate and wake the body up and say, oh, okay, yeah, this is what's wrong with me, this is what I need to do. That's basically all we need. So 1 or 2 turmeric tea bags a day will suffice for that, and you can throw it in your soups and stews and casseroles. You can also mix it in with a little bit of plain rice to give that a bit of flavour, but just make sure that you get your adequate dose of turmeric a day, and my suggestion for that would be, again, a teaspoon at most is what you would need daily to get the benefits from that. Caraway seeds, if you've got those in a little jar in the cupboard, they're really helpful little buggers too. They have an ability to differentiate between good and bad bacteria, which is an extraordinary quality for them, and they work to clear out the bad stuff while allowing the good bacteria to keep working. It's a really good digestive aid for that reason, but it's also an immune system booster. Basil, our little friend in the kitchen, our little stinky green plant on the windowsill. I don't know whether I love the smell of basil or hate it, but it's a very powerful little herb. It's one of our best allies, jam-packed full of different vitamins and minerals. It's really important for immune strength, and it also protects the body's molecular structure, which is important when you're battling any kind of illness. Basil's an anti-inflammatory, and it also helps to fight depression, which is also something that we've all got to be very mindful of as we go into more isolated states of being, and at a time when our mental health is probably more at risk than it's ever been. We need to use every available weapon in our arsenal to help combat that. So basil is a really nice little helpful friend in that regard too. It's antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and it helps to address dysfunction and strengthen the ability to fight invading illness. Herbs can work surprisingly well depending on the strength of what you've got, as I've said. Let me just go on to my next little page of notes here. I'm desperate to not include something that could be helpful, so I've just made some bullet points. Some other herbs that can be of real help to you as well include the ones we probably know the best outside of the kitchen, and one of those is echinacea. Everyone knows that that's the go-to herb for helping to fight flu and colds through the winter, but it's best to buy this one in a capsule form. But if you have purple cone flowers in your garden, you can make infusions with the flowers, the stems and the leaves, and possibly also wash and use the roots as well. All parts of that plant are useful in fighting illness, disease, and helping to boost the immune system, and echinacea reduces inflammation as well as boosting immunity. A couple of Ayurvedic ones now. Ashwagandha is one that many of you probably won't have heard of, but you will have heard of ginseng. Now those two are kind of two sides of the same coin in what they do. They are said to provide really powerful immune support. They're best taken in tablet form, and ashwagandha is like a calmative herb to help settle the system, an overwrought system, and ginseng on the opposite side of that provides a little bit of a rev up. It provides a bit of stimulation, a little bit of energy. So taking them both together more or less cancels out the benefits in terms of efficacy, but when you use them appropriately at the appropriate times for what you need, they can be of real help to you. Another little known herb that I know quite well about is astragalus. That's an immune booster also. That's astralagus, immune booster, best taken in tablet form again. And you know, in essence, all herbs, pretty much all of our known herbs, have some kind of medicinal properties, most notably a boost to immunity, a safeguard, a weapon in helping us maintain our health. While most herbal remedies for different ailments use specific herbs to target and treat specific conditions, the overall consensus among herbalists is that most recognized herbs will be a positive influence on the immune system. There are a great many more herbs than what I've talked about here. I've just given you a brief snapshot of what's available, and I could go on for hours about different herbs and how they can help, but I know that not everyone is as fascinated by the natural medicinal world as I am, so I'll just leave you with these gems I've offered so far, because I do think there's enough there in what I've already suggested to give you what you need. As I say, they are taps on the shoulder. They are reminders to the body to just get off its bum and get on with doing what it's supposed to do and help us get and stay well. What I will say though is to take all herbal and aromatherapeutic remedies in moderation, because too much of anything can create serious discomfort, and as I've said a couple of times already, you don't need much. These things are very powerful, and as stimulants to a sluggish immune system, you don't need a lot, you just need enough to provide that wake-up call. They're powerful aids, so you do only need a little bit. And when you're purchasing online, I'd like you also to remember to only buy reputable brands, trusted brands that have been around in a while and that have got enough positive independent reviews to let you feel trusting and truly comfortable about buying and taking them. And if you're ministering to anyone who's pregnant or who has an existing medical condition, do make sure you run it by your GP or other medically qualified health professional before you get underway with taking anything you're not sure of or that you're not used to taking already in your diet. And the last warning, this is probably the most important one of all. If you feel any discomfort whatsoever in even the most minor way from taking anything herbal or aromatherapeutically based, stop taking it right away. Not everyone tolerates everything well. Your body might reject a remedy in exactly the same way as you could be affected by an allergy or an intolerance. Start small, work your way up. Our bodies are talking to us all the time. This entrenched period of lockdown provides us all with a really good opportunity to be still, to tune into our bodies, what our organs are doing, what they're telling us, and be more mindful about the messages they're trying to convey. And I would say at the end of that to everybody, the very best of luck in getting through this time. And please do message me privately if you have any other questions or queries about herbs, about aromatherapy, about anything that you can do in the order of natural products to help you get through this difficult time. We've all got to pull together. I'm happy, I'm here, happy to be of service in whatever way I can. So thank you. See you soon.